Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter on this wonderful Friday morning, August 4th. If you're listening, appreciate you guys listening. Trent, Trey, welcome. And Trey,
Yeah,
actually, welcome back, Trey.
yeah, it feels good to be back.
Yeah.
Had some big life events. Ecstatic to be a new dad, but even no, I wouldn't say even happier. I'm just happy to be back.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah,
That's good. Hey, guys, from here on out, we got football the rest of the way.
that's right. Yes, we do.
Tonight's for the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, it's actually one of the reasons I'm happy to be back. Hearing Dad talk so well about the 49ers last week really sat in my crawl, and I've been chomping at the bit to get back here and get back to trashing the Niners. But now I'm just messing.
Are you though?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I
actually
didn't think
glad
you
to
are. I
be
didn't
back.
actually get any. There's no sympathy there, but you know.
I loved getting that angry text message from Trey after you listened to the episode of what the heck. I had one rule.
One rule. He said. Yep.
That's
right.
the rule.
Oh, I
That's
think
right.
Trent, I think your text was just as good too. Well, Trey, I didn't give Dad any rules when he filled in for me.
It is true. I just gave him advice, and I tried to send him some help, some resources. So
Yeah, I just don't like hearing any 49er talk in my absence.
Gosh, you sound like a salty ex-girlfriend or something.
Yeah, definitely a little bitter and salty.
All right, well, hey, let's jump into this here. So, as you guys brought up, we do have football's back. It's back, better than ever, I guess I could say. But we're gonna jump.
Not yet. I mean, Hall of Fame game's a little, lights went out. Things are always a little choppy there. So
It's Buffalo Wild Wings. It's fine.
But it is football.
Yeah.
So that's the positive thing.
That's the key. I mean, this is kind of now you get everything kind of hit in stride. It is kind of one of those times, though. It does make you a little bit nervous because you always, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I always worry, though, just injuries and things like that, little stupid injuries and stuff, which we've already seen with a couple of different teams. But you get into that stuff. So I do get kind of nervous as we get into some of the training camp stuff. But moving forward into preseason, I think it's definitely exciting here. So that being said, Trent, you're going to get us going here with our booming topic. So we're actually going to dive right into the NFL. Let's get it. You missed it, Trey?
I did miss it. That's for right. Sure.
I believe that.
Yes.
Do you have any dreams about that?
Every night, actually.
Every night about the air horn?
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
it's my alarm.
And then it's my voice that says, "Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter." Yeah. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Trent.
All right. So I've got a couple, following along this week. All training camps are open. Preseason starts this week. Just looking at a couple headlines, couple stories, couple maybe even I'd say some things on sports books that grab your attention too. So a couple NFL quick hitters here. My first one is I want to start off with, going right through the season and right to the playoffs. I want to know which team this year is going to break their playoff win drought. And I have some droughts to mention to you, all right? The team with the longest drought to win a playoff game is actually the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Last time they won a playoff game was 1991.
Does kind of seem like a soft toss question then, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. There's another team. I'm gonna give you some other ones. The Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000. We could probably skip over this next one. The Raiders haven't won a 2000 playoff game since 2002.
That was their Super Bowl year.
Yep. That they got killed in. Thank you. The team from Washington, they haven't won since 2005. The Jets since 2010. The Bears 2010, and then you got Cardinals 2015, Panthers 2015, and Broncos 2015. I'm going to kind of cut it off there because
Okay.
I think we got to look at like a serious drought being, wouldn't you guys say, close to maybe 8 to 10 years?
Yeah, for
around
sure.
that?
Where did you say the Jets there?
Yeah, Jets haven't won a playoff game since 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah, I got to say, Trent, I'm pretty surprised by the Broncos being pretty high on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess you got to figure ever since they lost Peyton, they've been
Right.
way down under.
I guess in my mind, it just seems like it was not too long ago, but yeah, I guess that's crazy to think about.
Can I give you one more? I know I went up to 2015. This kind of caught my attention is the Steelers 2016.
Okay.
Since they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's not, and that's why maybe when we talked about the hot seat question the other episode, maybe that's why Tomlin's odds weren't as, towards like the no way he's going to get fired. But so I want to know, there's a list of a couple teams there that haven't won a playoff game that have a chance and that are in the headlines right now to be playoff teams. So who do you guys feel?
I'll start us here. So, Trent, I think the key here is you said playoff game, and
Just
in order
to win one.
Yeah, right. And in order to win a playoff game, you have to be in the playoffs.
Yes.
I don't think the Lions.
Thank you.
I don't think the Lions make the playoffs, and I don't think the Dolphins make the playoffs. Shout out Zach Blather. I think.
Shots fired.
Oh, yeah.
Fired.
It's real.
Listen, we're trying to get listeners. We're not trying to push listeners away. Goodness.
No, but in all seriousness, I think the Jets. I think they're the ones that break their drought. I know it sounds cliche coming from me and Packers fan that now Aaron Rodgers plays for their team, but I honestly, even if Rodgers didn't go there, I think the Jets make the playoffs with a decent quarterback and they win a playoff game. I think they have a ton of.
But hold on a second, though. I truly believe that I think 2 episodes ago, you were not sold on the Jets.
Nope, that was me.
Okay,
that was me.
All right, I knew somebody wasn't.
Yeah, Tyler, you're going to owe me a beverage after the Jets go
and Tyler,
9.5 wins.
Tyler, but you're not wrong though. It's not that. I mean, I wasn't as sold on the Jets a couple weeks ago, but do you know what I think really sold me on them?
What's that?
The $35 million pay cut that Rodgers took to sign more players to win a championship, to afford more pieces around him, and that's something he never did with the Packers. Yeah. Granted, the Packers wouldn't have surrounded him with pieces anyway, but I think.
Hey, do you blame the ownership for that, Trey? You blaming yourself
at the time, yes, but I wasn't an owner then, so.
You are a shareholder with Aaron. You were,
but not at that time, or else changes would be made.
You were.
It does kind of seem like I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing, because they didn't help Rodgers out.
Funny thing about his back.
No, but like they didn't help Rodgers out, and therefore and I really think that's kind of the epitome of the relationship, and even how it ended is, hey, it just seemed very sour for a lot of the last couple of seasons. I mean, you could even say since they brought in
drafted.
You know what I mean? And
I was gonna say since they drafted Love.
I think it's since LaFleur's been there. And I'm not saying I don't know.
Tyler just hates Matt LaFleur.
I don't hate Matt LaFleur. I don't hate Matt LaFleur. I just don't think that he knew how to coach Aaron Rodgers. And that's my opinion. But
I guess winning 13 games every season means you don't know how to coach a player.
No, because Aaron Rodgers kind of doing it on his own.
Wow.
Yep. That's a hot take. But listen.
And this is why I feel no regret about bashing the 49ers and how eager I was to get back here.
Not bashing.
It's a mutual hate, Tyler. We mutually hate our team.
I don't hate your team because we'll leave that one go. But
all right. So Trey, you say the Jets most likely to win the playoff game. Tyler?
I'm actually also on the Jets bandwagon. Trey makes a good point too with the pay cut, because honestly I do believe that Dalvin Cook is on his way there. I'm not saying that that's going to be the missing piece, but at the same time, if you get Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, you're pretty scary on top of what you already have. And you guys can make fun of me all you want, but I'm sold on Robert Saleh just being a player's coach. He's a defensive guy. I think their defense is pretty scary. Signing Quinnen Williams again. You got Sauce Gardner. I mean, what we talked about a couple episodes. Remember, Quentin Williams was like the first time to like re-sign a guy in almost 10 years. You know, I think you're starting to kind of see some sort of change of the guard in the terms of players are buying in and they're saying like, listen, hey, we're going to turn the Jets into something a little bit different. And I really truly believe that is kind of leadership, though. I think it's the same thing that you're seeing with the Lions. I think the Lions will be successful this year. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? With the way that they drafted, they should. But I think the same thing goes with Dan Campbell being a player's coach. You know, he listens to them. He's kind of that, you know, hey, listen, I'm your head coach. I'm going to be a hard ass, but at the same time, I'm also going to listen to you guys and, you know, kind of know what we got to go to.
And I'm going to try to get a goddamn live lion.
Oh my god,
dude, that was my favorite thing ever.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Favorite thing ever.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
Hell
man.
yeah.
I wish that would have happened. Can you imagine that? Just having them walk an actual lion onto the field.
Yeah. I
would be awesome.
truly, Todd, I'm gonna go an opposite. Obviously, you guys are both on the Jets being a playoff team this year. I'm not. I think they finished third. I think they finished third in their division. I don't see him. I don't see him winning more than 9.5 games. I think there's too much hype. And it's just the fact you got to play Miami twice. You got to play the Bills twice. The AFC itself is just it's a tough place to play. And I think the pressure of New York can cause problems for the Jets.
Well, let's be honest, it's actually Jersey, so.
Yeah. But
just putting that out there. There's only one true New York team, and that's Buffalo.
I'm taking the Lions in this case. I think they have a good chance to win that division, and I think they're going to have a pretty strong record. And I just think I am a believer in Dan Campbell's passion for the game, that he can get those guys to do it this year. And honestly,
awesome,
I mentioned it. Yeah, and I mentioned it last week. He's kind of getting that. I can't really describe it, but the fact that both of his coordinators decided to stay when they probably could have been head coaches.
Yeah.
And then he also keeps a lot of his assistants. So it's like that loyalty that you saw amongst. I know people don't like this guy, but it's amongst what you saw at Clemson with Dabo in their prime.
Yep.
You know, they kept their coaching staffs together, and that kept their teams together. And honestly, I look at that offensive line and that rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. You know, that's a huge weapon, and I think St. Brown out at wide receiver is a top 3 to top 5 receiver this year in the NFL. So
then when they get Williams back too after 6 games.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't matter as long as they don't bet on their team again.
True. All right, let's go. Can we go on to my next one?
Well, yeah, but real quick, just kind of a follow-up, though. Do you think the Browns have success this year?
Not at all.
Trey, yes or no?
No.
All right, that's all. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know.
All right.
I also say no.
So now there was a list published this week that actually ended up getting edited after they received a ton of criticism. Fox Sports, we were just talking about it pre-show here about this list of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. And the one guy that they actually left off this list was Trevor Lawrence. Was nowhere to be found. They actually ended up adding him in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pose this question, because I think this other quarterback that I'm gonna bring into this little topic is getting a lot of attention, maybe not in a good way on Twitter. If you had to tell me right now who's going to have a better year this year, is it Dak Prescott or Trevor Lawrence?
Trey?
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Also saying Trevor Lawrence.
Anybody want to add on to just a reasoning one way, rather in favor of Trevor or maybe against Dak?
Okay, Ty.
I was gonna say I I don't know. I've not been on the Dak Prescott bandwagon for a while. He reminds me a lot of someone like a Tony Romo, where he looks good a lot of the time, but also he looks really bad a lot of the time. I do think that Peterson's also a better coach than McCarthy, at least at this stage in the game. At one point in time, I would have said McCarthy just simply because, he had a lot of success when he had Rodgers with the Packers. But at this point in time, I truly think that Peterson is kind of one of those coaches that understands the new age NFL. He knows how to put his players in positions to win. And I think he has a lot of young talent there. I know Calvin Ridley kind of got a little tagged with a little bit of an injury today. But you're going to give a weapon like Calvin Ridley on top, with to Trevor Lawrence on top of what they already had. I truly think that if a second year under Peterson's offense, Trevor Lawrence can thrive. I mean, you're finally giving him some consistency. And that's what he had when he had Dabo Swinney, too, at Clemson. I think consistency is key for him. So I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be that. I think, I don't want to say Dak's not going to be a starter by the end of the year, but I think the Cowboys move on from Dak after this season because I don't think Dallas makes the playoffs.
I would say that Dak comment's pretty hot take there. But
call me hot takes.
I think, don't get me wrong, I think they're both going to have great years. But I just think I echo everything Tyler says. I like Doug Peterson over Mike McCarthy. I like the weapons around Trevor Lawrence more than what I like him around Dak. I also like the division that Trevor Lawrence plays in.
Yeah, true. That's a good point, Trey.
Yeah, but I also think that the insurmountable pressure that's constantly put on Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make the playoffs and he doesn't even have a playoff win, everything is questioned about him. Whether he's elite, whether he can carry a football team, and to be honest, I don't think it's fair. I think he is a good quarterback in general. I think
it's the nature of the team, though. It's the nature of the team.
Exactly, Tyler. I think being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, America's team, all these fans that have this awful NFL playoff drought for years, and it's become a joke, really. I think that pressure, I think he's got more to lose than what Trevor Lawrence does too, and I think that's a factor as to why he either folds under the pressure, has one bad game, and it just avalanches. But yeah.
So I mean, Dallas hasn't been good since Troy Aikman.
They've been good.
Tony Romo
and hot take.
A year or two.
No.
So just to add on,
I think Tony Romo was just a stat guy. He didn't win you the big one. He couldn't win the big game, And I don't know.
Dallas did win a playoff game last year, 2022.
Then they ran the best offensive play to try to go against San Fran with Zeke at center.
Oh, man.
You guys remember that
shit? He got blown up.
So let me say this though. I think the Cowboys do make the playoffs, and it's not as a wild card.
Whoa.
You think they win that division?
I do.
Terrible. You're just trying to disagree with me from last episode when I gave the Eagles credit. But hey, a name you're forgetting as a weapon for him that I think, as long as he stays, I think he has a huge year as long as he stays healthy.
For sure.
So,
yep.
Here's my last little NFL quick hitter. So other thing in the news was right now the most bet MVP winner this year has been Justin Fields.
Which is absurd.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's absurd.
Hey, don't forget, guys, Mitch Trubisky in 2018-19 also had a very, very similar situation going on where he at one point was the most bet MVP winner. But here's what I want from you. Unless maybe Justin's going to be one of yours. But give me a QB MVP winner prediction, a non-QB MVP winner, and then if you want to throw in a absolute, what you would say is a long shot, you can, but don't have to.
All right. I don't want to be cliche, so my QB winner, I'll say, is Joe Burrow. As long as he can come back from his little calf injury. Man. Non-QB MVP, I would say is Christian McCaffrey. And then long shot, Oh man, and I'm gonna just because long shot. I'm gonna stay away from quarterbacks. I'm gonna say Bijan Robinson.
He's an MVP.
Yep.
Oh yeah, long shot. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Long shot.
I like it. All right, Trey.
All right, quarterback MVP. Oh man, I'm gonna go Josh Allen.
Cliche.
Okay, well it's a quarterback
I'm just
MVP.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's not the most cliche.
Trey, it's not too cliche when your pick has the same odds as Joe Burrow.
Oh, thank you, Trent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't do that, Trent. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I have to call that out.
Non-quarterback MVP. I'm going Justin Jefferson.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good call.
And then I guess if you want to call it a long shot, I don't really know, but Nick Chubb.
Ooh, that's a long shot. He's a good run. He's a good back, but I think that's a long shot. That's a good long shot.
I think he's going to be their complete offense, and he's a stud. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a very good long shot.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow. Okay.
I like that a little bit better than mine, actually. I do.
Well, thank you.
Wow. Yep. You want me to give you guys mine?
No, let's just move on.
Okay. Yeah, next please. Now.
I'm going QB MVP. I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Trey, I'm
New
Trey,
Eagles
I'm
fan
also,
over there. New Philly fan over there.
Oh man.
He loves them so much.
I'm in for it with this tonight.
He loves them so much.
Gosh, if you really do.
You're gonna pick Swift. You're gonna pick Swift next.
AJ Brown.
Yep. Swift next, and AJ Brown.
Maybe I'll take Brock Purdy and hear it from Trey too. No.
Oh God.
But
I would.
I'm going Justin Jefferson as my other. He was actually the one that I would have jotted down, which still blows my mind, guys, that he has worse odds than Trey Lance and Kyler Murray. Trey Lance has plus 9,000. Justin Jefferson is plus 10,000. And then top this off, Justin Jefferson and Kyler Murray have the exact same odds. Kyler Murray might not play at all this year.
What the hell? You almost might as well just put a sprinkle on it.
Yeah, right?
Because
Jefferson, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's not going to play this year. Trey Lance, right now, I'm hearing he's QB3. What the heck?
Yeah.
What is that? How do you? Yeah. And that's absurd.
It's because wideouts don't win it. It's a quarterback. It's a quarterback award.
Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in this era.
Yes. Tyler, he could put up a record-setting season. He could break Calvin Johnson. Is it Calvin Johnson's record or is it Cooper Kupp's? I forget.
Which I don't know what record it is. What you're talking about?
Well, either one, receptions or yards. Yeah. He could break both of those records. Trey Lance could have an above-average season, and he'd probably be still favored over Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
It's just the way the MVP is. It's always a quarterback now.
It's a stupid award.
It is pretty dumb.
It's like the Heisman. It's like the Heisman too.
Yeah.
Or
Heisman pissed me off.
Any MVP really.
Yeah. All right, my long shot is Jared Goff.
Oh, what a horrible take!
Yucky.
That's a terrible take.
Okay, you guys will eat your words.
I don't think the Lions are as good as what people are going to make them out to be.
Yeah, it's coming from the Packers.
I know. And you can call me biased, but I think the Packers win that division.
Hey, and depending on the health of Hendon Hooker, Jared Goff might not end up being a quarterback there by the end of the season. Yep.
Come on.
Hendon
Come
Hooker.
on.
Dude, I'm all about these quarterback changes.
Yeah, you are.
Same thing with Russell Wilson. Remember Stidham?
Yeah, you love Stidham.
I don't love Stidham. I just hate Russell Wilson.
That's because he put on a pretty good show in his Niners.
And I hate Russell Wilson.
All right, last thing here, and this is my hot take for the episode.
Oh boy.
Is I believe Stetson Bennett will be the starter for the Rams by the end of the year.
Ew.
What do you mean, ew? Now,
he's not.
Can you say? Do you think he's going to be the starter because of injury, or do you think he's going to beat out Stafford?
I'm just saying, by the end of the year, he's starting. No matter what, he'll end up starting for the Rams. That's my hot take.
So
it could be injury, could be performance, could be that they're so bad that they're going to say, "Hey, let's move on to the future."
The only way Stetson Bennett takes that job this year is by injury, because as long as Sean McVay is there.
What?
No,
he tried trading Stafford.
No, as long as you think Sean McVay is in there and saying, "Hey, let's trade Stafford." No,
yes,
it's management. No, as long as McVay is there, Stafford's the guy.
Okay, that's my hot take.
So I know, and that's why I'm saying I'm making your take cold by telling you why.
I would say lukewarm because you gave me an opening for it happening. So, all right, guys, those are just some things that caught my attention this week.
All right,
yeah, I like it.
Trey, we want to stick with the NFL.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Trent, I liked your quick hitters, so I'm gonna stick with it for my booming topic. Mine are just kind of straightforward. Just what you guys think here. I want to know what you guys are gonna think. Wow, if I could speak here. Yes. Who is going to win the defensive and offensive rookie of the years this year?
Oh, man. All
right. What do you want first, defense or offense?
Well, let's start with defense first. I'll list the top 5 in terms of odds on DraftKings. Will Anderson out of Houston, Jalen Carter out of Philly, Christian Gonzalez out of New England, Tyree Wilson for the Raiders, Devin Witherspoon from Seattle. Those are the top 5 in terms of odds.
Who's 6?
Yeah, probably.
Lucas,
the Packers.
Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, I saw him up there on a couple lists, but
okay, because my guy's not even there.
Well, let's hear your guy.
I'm going Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell, linebacker from Detroit.
Jack Campbell.
Yep, he's the linebacker from Iowa. Had a 4.6 40. I almost
1,800.
What's that?
Plus
1,800.
Plus 1,800.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's kind of guy. I don't know. I feel like he's almost Dan Campbell on the field. All right, just watching some of his highlights and things like that. I'm going with Jack Campbell.
Dan Campbell is a tight end. Just kidding.
What?
You said Dan. Wait, did you say Dan Campbell?
I said Jack Campbell is my guy.
I know, but you said he's like Dan Campbell on the field. I said Dan Campbell was a tight end or head coach. I'm talking about in terms of his leadership, like a leader on the field, the head coach on the field. It's ridiculous. I'm busting on you.
No, I'm going Jack Campbell. I really truly think that he has potential. I mean, dude, he's 6'5" linebacker, 249. Dude's a beast. That's who I'm saying. I truly think that, because they also have what's his name, Hutchinson too, right?
Yeah.
Which people forget. All right, they had a great draft. They also still have Hutchinson in there. They're actually putting a lot of pieces together, and I don't know. I think rookie of the year defensively, I'm going him, just because I think that Campbell's putting a lot of that team together, and I think a lot of the players are buying it. So.
Okay.
So you got Trent.
I'm going to be kind of chalky here. I'm going Jalen Carter. There we go. Give me the Eagles fan across the board.
Jeez, man.
I know. But
Did you hear that, Trey? Did you hear that in Trent's background? Fly, Eagles.
I was going to make an eagle noise.
Hey.
Oh, man. Our listeners. Oh, sorry, guys.
That wasn't too bad.
I would say Jalen Carter going to have a lot of primetime games. Going to get those televised games versus the Cowboys. I just feel like with how stacked their defensive line is, you're going to have to kind of pick your poison. And he's going to get a lot of opportunity to make plays in that defense.
I think he's also going to get more attention though than some of the older guys.
Oh, okay. Are you talking in terms of game planning for him?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think if you're game planning, I know Fletcher Cox is good, but you're probably going to block this guy and put more effort in this guy than you are Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, is Fletcher Cox even going to be as big in the mix with the other Georgia guy they drafted the year before? I think that was Fletcher Cox replacement. So.
No, I know. That's fair enough.
So I'm going Jalen Carter, defensive rookie of the year for the Eagles.
Trey, who you got?
I'm also staying with one of the top 5 people, kind of chalky, I guess, if you want to call it that, but Christian Gonzalez from the New England Patriots. He is a cornerback. I think that he's going to get a ton of action this year in that division. I think he's talented. I think Bill Belichick does well with defensive rookies and really gets the most out of them. If he can stay healthy, I think that, he gets it done. I think he's a pretty talented physical guy.
Who was it last year? It was Sauce Gardner, right?
Yes, it was.
Had to have been. That's what makes me wonder is like, so we had Jack Campbell as linebacker. What was Christian Gonzalez?
Corner.
The cornerback.
Corner. Yeah.
You said D-lineman. So we have all 3 different positions, which is cool.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I was honestly, my close call was going to be that Witherspoon out of Seattle, I believe.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, but
dude, he just signed recently. Like they could not sign him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's
we'll be good.
Offense.
Yep, offensive rookie of the year.
I hope he's not.
Yeah. So top 5 in terms of odds for offensive rookie of the year. Bijan Robinson out of the Falcons. Bryce Young, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. C.J. Stroud, Houston. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis. And Jahmyr Gibbs from Detroit, running back.
And I'll start. And I'm going with that 5th guy that you said, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Wow.
All over.
Wow. Man, you guys are...
Running back behind a very, very good offensive line. And he can. The biggest thing here is he's going to get you not just rush yards. I think he's also a really, really big threat in the passing game too. So I think he's going to put up a lot of numbers.
Okay. Tyler, what do you got?
I'm going Bijan Robinson. I mean, he was my long shot for MVP. I think that Bijan Robinson is going to be the running back to get paid probably sooner than most of these guys.
You mean like when he re-signed or after his rookie contract?
Maybe, yeah. I think he'll be the guy that's either the next guy to get big money as a running back.
Wow, that's a bold assumption.
I think that, well, maybe second guy.
Okay.
I think McCaffrey's going to get it. I think McCaffrey will get some money. But I do think Bijan Robinson, just with his talent alone, he's not just a running back. He's kind of that slot guy. He's a lot like a McCaffrey. Or even like an Alvin Kamara kind of thing where you can get out of the backfield. And I made the statement a couple episodes ago, too, when we had the running back conversation, is like, you need to be that kind of, multiple position guy if you want to get paid as a running back. And I think that's why you'll see guys like McCaffrey get paid. But I think this Robinson guy has that opportunity. I also think this year, too, the reason he's my offensive rookie of the year is I think the Falcons are still building. I don't think they have a ton, and I think he's going to have to get the ball a lot and make a lot of plays.
So you think like a volume?
Yeah.
Might get killed with that offensive line in front of him.
Well, and the other thing too is what other running backs are in front of him too. So that's something else you have to take into account. I mean, that's going to affect my fantasy draft picks, but I can't even think of his name. 84 running back.
Cordell Patterson.
Cordell Patterson he's been my go-to guy, kind of a sneaky pick in fantasy football. So yeah, I think that's gonna impact him as a draft pick in fantasy, but I think Robinson's a guy. So.
All right, I like it.
Yep.
So
Trey, before you get your never mind, you got to get your pick in. I was gonna say.
You're gonna try and steal mine here, huh?
Sorry, I'll tell you if it's a guy, but go ahead.
Well, if I wanted to go with the safe pick, like one that if I was betting on it, I mean, I'd probably put bets on both of these, but the safe one for me is C.J. Stroud, the Houston quarterback. I'm seeing that he's already winning the battle with Davis Mills, I think his name is. But I mean, he's having learning mistakes just like rookies have. But what the thing that I like is D'Amico Ryans and the defensive coordinator apparently are putting a lot of pressure on him, and even like practice reps, and it's getting him game ready sooner than what he thought.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I think that's going to help him. I also think he's just going to overperform, is what people think. Like I said, I think the Texans are going to overperform in general. But the one that I will be betting on, I think for sure, is and it's not on the top 5 list. I think he was kind of forgotten about in the draft. Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver for the New York Giants out of Tennessee. He's already. I was just reading an article.
Is that where he went? The Giants.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh. Dude, he was a machine.
Exactly. He's built. He's big. He's strong, and apparently he's setting records for speed already in the NFL because he's been clocked multiple times in practice running 24 miles an hour, which has never been done in an NFL game. So
that doesn't surprise me. When he was with the Volunteers, man, he was a beast.
Right.
All they had to do was throw it up to him. He was getting it.
Right, and I think that translates to the NFL because no, Daniel Jones isn't necessarily thread needles, but you have a nice little play action with Saquon, who's a threat. Just launch up there to him. He'll jump in, catch it, run it for.
Or you get play breakdowns. You find the open area and just toss it up.
Exactly.
He's gonna go get it. So, which I think you could actually see that happen last year with Hooker.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think he's a good little, and he's plus 4,000 odds too. So I mean, not too bad there.
I like that. That's good.
So I will real quick because you didn't take my guy that I was gonna say. I really had a hard time not saying him, but his quarterback is what made me not take him, and I was gonna say Zay Flowers for the Ravens.
Okay.
He's getting a lot of attention.
And the fact that you've got Beckham on the other
Boston College.
Yes.
Okay.
Boston College. So I just think with Odell Beckham on the other side, probably getting a lot. Teams are going to give him a lot more attention, at least initially. But I think Zay Flowers is going to be the guy. It's just a matter of can Lamar Jackson actually throw it to him? You know? So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, plus 3,000 odds.
Okay.
All right,
Tyler. Let's hear your boomer.
All right, quick boomer here. All right, won't take a ton of time, but I think it's something to at least talk about because Saturday we got a nice little fight coming on, and that is going to be Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. And I want to hear your take on who's winning the fight, why, what do you guys think about the fight? Are Jake Paul fights real?
Well, that's what I was like to start with is who would have thought we'd be talking about Jake Paul on our sports podcast, right? That's pretty crazy. I am a non-believer in the realism of his fights. I think they're kind of staged, especially at least to a point. I think that Diaz takes the payday. I do. I think he falls. I think Jake Paul comes out with his knockout. Maybe not even a knockout, maybe a decision. But I think Diaz, just like Ben Askren. I don't think they're going to take it seriously.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Well, I just think
compare Nate Diaz to Ben Askren, dude. That is the worst take.
I'm not saying them as actual MMA fighters because I know that's a lot different, but I'm talking about in the way they're approaching this fight. I think that Jake Paul takes it very, very seriously, whether or not it is fixed or not. He trains, he works hard, he does want to be a good boxer. I think these MMA guys don't train for this. I think that they see it as an easy payday, a way to get their name in the headlines again. And who knows? If it is fixed, it's hard to say. Some of the knockouts don't look as legit. Some people brace their falls and whatnot, but it's entertaining. It's always fun to watch, and I always check on it. So either way, if it's fake or not, I like it. But I think Jake Paul wins.
Jake Paul wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think, like I said, I don't think Diaz takes it seriously. It might be fixed. Both of those components make me think Jake Paul wins.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Trey, because here's my reasoning is Jake Paul finally fought another boxer in his last fight and lost.
Right.
And he did. He lost. Did he put on a good show? Did he do better than probably most people thought? Absolutely. But with all the money that he does bring in and all the entertainment that he does provide, because let's be real, his every single press conference, every single weigh-in thing, every single interview goes viral when it comes to his fights. So I think he has to win to keep this thing going, because if he loses to an MMA fighter who's not a boxer, I think his legitimate shot at becoming like an actual well-renowned boxer is gone. I think if he loses his fight, I do see it going to a decision, and I do see Jake Paul winning by decision. No matter what, if it goes to a decision, it's going to Jake Paul. It's as simple as that. Unless there's something glaringly obvious, but I am pulling for Nate Diaz, just because the dude's a nut. I mean, he sits there and you see him smoking a cigarette while on the speed bag, and that maybe goes back to Trey's fact of
it's actually not a cigarette though, Trent.
Yeah. Oh,
what was
okay.
it?
Nate Diaz.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, dude, he's totally smoking a joint.
Okay. Anyway,
he talked about it with McAfee.
Well, that also goes to Trey's point of how serious do they really take it? Because maybe two MMA fighters look at it and say, "Oh, shorter rounds. I don't got to avoid takedowns. I don't have to defend, submissions and whatnot. I just got to stand and box." So, yeah, I don't know. It's and also I'm not a huge boxing fan, but just like in some MMA fighters, there's an art to at least score well on the cards. Do you know what I mean? And Jake Paul has a lot more experience on that. So I will be tuning in, and this is interesting, guys. Isn't it on ESPN for pay-per-view this time?
Oh wow!
I'm pretty sure it's on ESPN.
I'm not sure.
I think you nailed it on the head, Trent. Like I truly don't care too much, but it's so entertaining, and he draws so much attention with like you said, his interviews and stuff, that I find myself checking on it and watching it, and whether or not I think it's fake or not, it is entertaining.
So I'm going to read you one headline here. All right. Nate Diaz to compete in 2 triathlons weeks before Jake Paul fight. Okay. And this is not the first time. I listened to his interview. I listened to him and Jake Paul interview both with McAfee. And he does triathlons weeks before his fights. Now, is that to say that, okay, maybe that makes him tired? I don't know. But at the same time, he's also a guy, Nate Diaz is a guy that's known for his endurance. A guy that can, go the distance. Whether it's set up or not, I don't think that Nate Diaz could ever swallow pride enough to actually just throw a fight, even if it's for money. I don't think it is, because I think he looks at it more of an opportunity where if I win this fight, I have a lot more opportunities. All right. And I really think that Nate Diaz actually beats the living shit out of Jake Paul. I do.
Could he get disqualified?
That could be, and I honestly, and that's actually a valid point. I actually think that the only way Nate Diaz would lose would be from a DQ.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think it goes the distance. I think Diaz actually either knocks him out or gets disqualified. That's where I'm at. Because if you know anything about Nate Diaz and you read anything about his background, he's not a guy. He's not a Ben Askren who's going to just fall over and just timber like a tree in the middle of the ring. He's not going to. He's a guy that is literally going to say, "Listen, I have pride. I'm born to fight. I'm going to knock the hell out of the guy that's across from me, no matter what sport it is." I do not see Diaz going down. I don't even see it. There's no way it goes
Tyler, I don't think Nate Diaz has many opportunities coming and knocking anytime soon. I think this is one that's far and few between, and I think everyone's got a number.
Okay,
I think everyone's got a number that they accept money for.
So here's what happens though. Nate Diaz wins this fight. Guess what happens? Nate Diaz is now picking his own boxing fights. Who he wants to fight. It's his own thing. He's looking at it as a business opportunity.
He could do that without.
He said it the other day in an interview.
Yeah.
There's no way he throws this fight, and there's no way he loses this fight.
I guess we'll see Saturday.
Yeah, we will. I'm on Nate Diaz, and I can't believe it. I'm actually the only one on Nate Diaz. I'm actually really surprised by you, both of you.
So listen,
a little bit disappointed in you.
I'm cheering for Nate Diaz, but
I know you're cheering for him, but I'm actually very disappointed that you both think.
I think Trey and I think you and Tyler should put a beer bet on it. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm not betting on a Jake Paul fight.
A beer, come on, dude.
Old Trey would.
All right, well, fine.
All right, deal.
That was easy.
Wow, that little tactic used to work back in the day. I didn't realize it still worked.
Yeah.
Old Trey would.
Yeah, I can't say no to some betting action.
All right, Nate Diaz. All right. All right, so what we'll do here is we're going to transition into Major League Baseball. We'll get into our bet, bail, and backing here to kind of lead us into the weekend. And then also keep an eye out for our Friday baseball board tomorrow that we'll put out. So let's get into our bet, bail, and backing here. Anybody want to start us off with their bets? What do they really like right now in baseball?
I can start if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah,
Let's
go
hear
ahead.
the trend.
Well, so first off, I want to address the one thing about this time of year is we are past the All-Star break, past the trade deadline. For a lot of teams, the writing's on the wall that hey, you're a seller now. You're trying to rebuild and prepare for next year, right? Whereas other teams are making a push. So you guys, we've been talking about it's getting kind of tough, don't you think? Lines, odds, things that we typically like. It's getting a little more sharp out there, needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But one thing that jumped out to me is actually a future bet, and it is a World Series bet post trade deadline. You could still place a bet for the AL leading Baltimore Orioles to win the World Series at plus 1,200 odds.
Wow.
I thought that was. I want to say it's like I was surprised to see that, but then again, I'm really not surprised based on the fact that, they were just in a series of the Blue Jays where they pretty much dominated the Blue Jays all season, and they were an underdog every single game and ended up taking the series in Baltimore 3-1. So I'm not always a very big futures person. They intrigue me from time to time, but I put a small wager on there just to keep me interested, and make a little put a little more weight on it as we get to the postseason times here in the big push. So yeah, that's my bet right now.
So, kind of along the same lines, I'm supporting right now. Again, we're not an Orioles podcast, but I guess we kind of are. But I'm actually supporting the Orioles defense. All right, and some of the different plays and stuff that they're able to make. Besides last night against the Blue Jays with their pitching change, but that's beside the point. That was kind of an outlier. Just some crazy plays. You look at some of their defensive plays. Hayes the other night having a diving catch. The way that they're able to stop things and actually kind of make plays when they need to. But I'm also looking at Santander's bat, specifically his home runs. He leads the Orioles right now in home runs with 19 on the season. Overall, dude is batting, I think, about 256. Last two games struggled a little bit, but before that, I think he was 3 for 4. So Santander's bat's really kind of come on a lot and really been helpful. But I think, Trent, you've been texting us too about it too. Is Gunnar?
Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar Henderson too.
He's chasing with him. Matter of fact, he just tied Santander for home runs, but then that Santander grand slam put him back up ahead. But
so there's a lot of young talent. I know we talked about it a lot. Is how many guys they still have that are just young prospects. So I'm on the Orioles. Like I said, specifically defense, just kind of seeing how they're playing a little bit. And let's be honest. Flaherty today, their new pickup from the Cardinals, pitched pretty well.
If he does what he did tonight for them, they might have been one of the bigger winners of the trade deadline. But Todd, to your point, Orioles top 5 defense right now in all of baseball, and I want to give credit to Trey here for talking about a couple weeks back that he said I'm thinking Grayson Rodriguez is going to get another shot. And he is back up in the major leagues, and he is he's looking much more settled.
Pitched a heck of a game the other night.
Yeah, his last 3 outings, I think it's now that he's been back.
Yep.
He's looking like that top pitching prospect that he is. So, just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Once again, not an Orioles podcast, everybody.
For my betting, I'll stay away from the Orioles. But one thing that I was appreciative of was teams that seemed like sellers at the deadline that didn't sell and are playing for their division. And 2 that come to mind are the Chicago Cubs. I love the fact that they didn't just clear house. They didn't trade everyone. They're actually going for it because they are in a competitive division right now, and they're only 2.5 games back. So kudos to them. And also, I know there's a ton of talk of it prior to the deadline, but the Los Angeles Angels, they keep an Ohtani. They're going for the divisional title. So, I mean, I give credit to the teams that didn't just throw in the towel and are actually competing. And that's something that you don't see too much in baseball, especially with all the trades and farm systems and everything like that. But, those 2 kind of stick out. But I appreciate that in baseball, the teams that don't just give up when they're right there.
Good point.
Real quick, so that'll actually lead me, if you guys don't mind, I'll jump into my bail.
Okay.
My bail is kind of related to Trey's support of. I'm bailing on the fact that Ohtani did not get traded. It kind of pissed me off a little bit. Not because I wanted him to go to the Orioles, but just the fact of I don't know. I feel like they're wasting his talent, and it frustrates me. I know Trey, you make a good point. Like, hey, we're gonna keep our guy. Let's see what we can do. I just don't see him doing anything, and it's frustrating as heck. And to kind of see him not move, I'm glad he didn't go to the Yankees for sure. Especially because how much I hate the Yankees.
Says it every week.
We know that. Oh, yeah. Yankee hater over here. I have to mention every week. It's kind of a trend now. But yeah, I'm bailing on the fact that they didn't give an opportunity elsewhere and at least get something for him. Maybe they were asking too much, which kind of seems a little silly to say because, I mean, you could make the argument that he's the best player in baseball right now, period. And I don't know anybody that would really argue that. So I do want to point out, though, if he did get traded, all right, in terms of AL, NL, all right, he would not have been honored, all right, if people had bet him to win the AL MVP.
Oh, wow.
So if he would have got traded, the people that bet him to win the AL MVP lost their bet.
That would have been controversial.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, I saw an article about that, and I was like, wow, that'd be pretty crappy.
There were a lot of people putting money down on the second and third people for the AL MVP, thinking he could get traded.
Right,
out.
because of that. Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it was interesting, but you're right, Tyler. That's a big. I know they say, oh, we're going to make a push for the playoffs. They have one of the tougher schedules coming up.
Yeah.
That's a major risk that organization is making right now.
Yep,
so,
totally.
Because, that baffled me. I'm
going to comment in the same breath as Tyler's bailing, so do you mind if I jump in, Trent?
You're going to steal mine. I know you are.
I'm bailing on the trade deadline in general.
Oh.
I think that it was very anticlimactic. I mean, I'm glad, like I know Tyler said about the Ohtani thing, I'm glad he actually didn't get traded, even though it was a boring trade deadline. But no, I just think that there was a lot of hype around it. It was covered a lot on multiple news outlets. And really, I think the most exciting trade was Scherzer to the Rangers and Verlander.
Stop right there, darn it. I'm gonna piggyback my bail. My bail was on the Mets.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. In the past 8 months, they've traded DeGrom, Scherzer, and Verlander. like you were supposed to compete for the World Series this year.
Yeah.
You traded those 3 names. Now I understand. I think they're kind of on their downswing, but go ahead, Trey. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to throw.
Well, that's kind of the other half of my bailing is I know I was backing teams that didn't trade on the trade deadline that probably should have, but I'm bailing on the teams that did trade at the trade deadline that made no sense, and that includes the New York Mets trend. I think Scherzer said in a quote that he was told that 2024 is going to be a transition year for the New York Mets, and that's why he wanted out of there. And that to me is just preposterous, considering that they have the highest payroll in baseball. They're paying $131 million to players that aren't on their team. That's like the amount of money they have tied up, and they're going to say that they're in a transition year is just, I mean, that's just crazy to me. I don't know what kind. I mean, obviously they're financially okay with what's his name, Steve Cohen or whoever the owner is now, but yeah, I'm bailing on teams that traded at the deadline that shouldn't have, in my opinion, and I'm just bailing on the deadline in general. It was very, very boring.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. There was a lot of hype and there was not a lot of action.
Exactly.
That's a good point. I like that.
All right, on to backing, fellas.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and start us here. I am backing Max Scherzer's agent. Here's why. Granted, he's become a traveling man, but he's not getting stuck on teams that are just wasting away. He's constantly getting traded to teams that at least have a shot at making the postseason, making a run. He is currently, this year, getting paid, ready for this, $15 million or more by 3 different teams at once right now. So the fact that is a real statistic blows my mind. The Nationals this year are paying him $15 million. The Mets are paying him $28 million. And now the Rangers are paying him $15 million. All right during this year. So
talk about taking Bobby Bonilla and taking it to another level.
Right? Like that's like, I mean, you're getting out of a team that's wasting away up there with the Mets, and you're going to the Rangers, who, you know, depending on how long he stays there. I mean, look at that staff. I mean, you got some pretty good pitching down there at the Rangers with if DeGrom ever comes back, I don't know, but you got some other guys like Dunning and Haney and all those. So
John Gray.
Yeah, John Gray. So kudos to his agency, because they're getting him paid and they're allowing him to have a chance to be a part of a winning team. That's my backing.
Okay. Trey, you want to go?
I was going to say it's up to you. I'm ready if you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. I'm just backing the general competitiveness of all of the MLB divisions. I think every top, everything is within 2 games. So the Orioles, Rays within 2 games, Twins, Guardians 2.5, Rangers, Astros 1.5. The only division that is, I think, a runaway is the NL East. The Braves are up by 11.5 games, but even those 2 teams behind them, the Phillies and the Marlins, they're competitive, fighting for a wild card.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time in a while that down the stretch, every MLB division, or majority of the MLB divisions, have like a competition for the top of their division. So yeah, I think it's pretty fun to watch, and I think it's gonna be very entertaining down the stretch. These games coming up are gonna be like playoff games for some teams. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty entertaining, and it's enjoyable to watch, really.
Yeah, I'm kind of along some of you guys' lines, with terms of what we're discussing here. My backing is anything against the Mets
and the Yankees.
Oh, that's already given. But yeah, anything against the Mets. I mean, I don't understand what they're doing. So anytime you can bet anything against the Mets, I mean, I almost bet. I told you guys earlier, Carrasco's under Ks. He had 0 Ks. The Royals swept them in a 3-game series. I think they're just in shambles. So they're on the very big downswing of things. But so that's what I'm backing anything against the Mets. But I do want to put a mention out here, and this is completely different from anything with baseball. But one other thing that I'm backing is Circa Sportsbook. Right, Circa Sportsbook is now partnering with SlamBall to allow SlamBall gambling. So if anybody's been following any other sports here, if you're looking to bet on SlamBall with some money line and some odds and some points, Circa Sportsbook is now allowing that. They have now partnered with SlamBall, so I think that's news as of today, maybe yesterday. So
you find any SlamBall cappers yet, Tyler, on Twitter or anything?
I'm searching, man. I actually watch a lot just to kind of see what's going on with stuff because it is very entertaining and also very impressive. Because I feel like some of these dunks and stuff, man, I would snap both my legs in half.
I currently have it on my TV. It's with ESPN2 doing.
Yeah, I have to say
today.
I have it on right now
And
too.
One thing I will say is these guys can't shoot for a lick. Like,
I mean, but
every single jump shot.
That's not why they're playing.
But at the same time, I mean that's kind of the reason I stopped watching the NBA is because all they do is shoot threes. I want to watch guys dunk, and I'm tuning in, man. I'd rather watch SlamBall than the NBA.
Wow.
Yep. Hot take.
So I'm not gonna lie. I've seen like bits and pieces, but I looked up the team names, and my team is Buzzsaw.
Oh, they're on right
now.
Oh,
yeah. Are they? All right, I'm gonna turn them on
right now by the mob, Trey.
They're
Nobody beats the mob, dude.
Oh, yikes! They're down by 27.
Yeah, nobody beats the mob.
Trey's now a mob fan.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm still a Buzzsaw guy.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the mob are undefeated.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. That's why I said correct me if I'm wrong.
Don't expect any SlamBall picks in our daily recipes, guys.
No.
To put that out there, okay?
Is it a half-court game?
No, it's not a half-court game. But if you get fouled, you don't shoot free throws. You get a one-on-one dunk against the other opponent. Nuts. But
how many dribbles do you get?
I don't know, dude. Who dribbles in SlamBall, Trey? All right. Well, hey, we'll wrap this up here. Appreciate everybody listening here on Friday. We'll be back at it next week. Stay tuned. Next couple episodes here, we are going to be looking at making some of our NFL picks in terms of who's winning divisions. We're also going to look at some of the college football divisions as well to really start, making some picks, see what everybody thinks. Again, tweet us. Well, I don't know if you tweet anymore, but I guess you post us on, is it Twitter anymore or is it X?
I guess you got to call it X, yeah.
Jeez.
I brought it up X last week, Tyler, and you said you refused to call it that. I'm just saying.
I don't know what, heck, we already had T-shirts made. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
I guess we got to remake T-shirts.
I think legally we have to call it X.
It's easy, Ty. You just put with a Sharpie an X over top of the Twitter.
Yeah, no, that's not that easy. Yeah, but they don't even call them tweets anymore. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What do they call them?
Posts. It's so cliche. So cliche. But yeah, give us a post or a tweet, whatever, wherever you stand on that issue. Check out our website.
We appreciate some listeners bantering with us. We like hearing your takes on our takes. So
sure.
We like it. Keep coming at Trey for us, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yep. And website www.beardedbakerbrothers.com. Check us out.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace out, guys.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.